Awesome. So welcome
Awesome.
to
So,
another
welcome to
session
another session
for the Trusted
for
Leaders
the Trusted
Conference.
Leaders Conference.
This time it's
This time
it is turn of
it is turn of
David.
David.
So welcome, David.
So,
Thank you for
welcome,
being our
David. Thank you
host
for being
today,
our host today.
and you can start
And you can
anytime.
start anytime.
Thank you. And thanks for coming today. Um, Ho'oponopono, as you may have read from the description, is it's a mantra, a healing mantra, and it can be used for a lot of purposes. And I originally learned about it in the first Gravity training, and I didn't really get it. I didn't really dig too deep into it at the time, but recently I came across this author, Joe Vitale, and I was listening to a book of his called Selling Trances, and it's a marketing book. And I just thought, wow, this guy's like really brilliant, and I like a lot of the stuff that he talks about, and a lot of subjects that he brings in that are really thoughtful. And then I saw that he made some content on Ho'oponopono, and I was like, oh, well, I already really like this author, so I have to check this out, because that's not exactly this what I'm thinking of this guy as, like a sales marketing kind of guy, and now he's on this Ho'oponopono, so I had to check it out, and I'm really glad I did. Um, I can share this presentation in the chat. For anybody who wants to follow along. Ho'oponopono. The world is a reflection of what is happening inside of us. If you are experiencing upset or imbalance, the place to look is inside yourself. Not only outside the object you perceive as causing your problem. Every stress, imbalance, or illness can be corrected just by working on yourself. So that last sentence there, every stress, imbalance, or illness can be corrected just by working on yourself. I think that really kind of hooked me about this, is um, that it can be, that it's meant to be used, or it's made to be used on oneself, and it doesn't require um, cooperation. It doesn't require people uh, taking time to work things out, but you can just immediately begin working on the problem within oneself. Um, so yeah, in the context that I'm sharing today, um, is within Gravity. We do conflict management, we study it, we practice it, and I'm always really interested in what can we do to prevent conflict and what can we do to prepare ourselves in a way that we're going to have more peaceful connections and maybe avoid the necessity of some of those stickiest conflict management tools. Welcome, Grail. I'm just introducing our topic, so you're not too late. And this graphic here is the gravity, the model of I've really just put that here for reference, but I don't have a lot to say about that right now. And this is a quote from Morna Nalamaku Simeona, who she brought this practice because what I'm teaching, what I'm sharing with you now is an updated, modernized version of this ancient practice. And this Morna is one of the people who has popularized it in the modern usage. And this quote from her: if we can accept that we are the sum total of all past thoughts, emotions, words, deeds, and actions, and that our present lives and choices are colored or shaded by this memory bank of the past, then we begin to see how a process of correcting or setting aright can change our lives, our families, and our society. Yeah, I don't know. That's just sort of to the point of this working on ourselves, being able to impact the whole world just by using this process. So the way that Dr. Joe Vitale, who I discovered this through, the way that he found out about it is that he heard about this psychologist who healed a mental ward without actually treating the patients, but by using this mantra on himself. And he was just captivated by this and hunted down, figured out where this guy is, and actually went and trained with him, received the teaching, and then has worked with Dr. Hugh Len, has worked with him. They work together to bring this teaching to a greater audience. And basically the short story here is that Dr. Lekala Hilen worked at Hawaii State Hospital for 4 years. The ward where they kept the criminally insane was dangerous. Psychologists quit on a monthly basis. The staff called in sick a lot or simply quit. People would walk through the ward with their back against a wall, afraid of being attacked. And then it just wasn't pleasant to live, work, or visit. And Dr. Len actually never saw these patients, never treated them as patients, that he reviewed their files, and when he looked at the files, he would work on himself. And while he's working on himself. He's saying the mantra of Ho'oponopono, which is a variation on the phrases, I'm sorry, please forgive me, love you, I thank you. And so after a few months, the patients that were shackled then were being allowed to walk freely, and others were getting off their medication, and eventually they closed the whole place down because like people just got killed. So that's a story that kind of brings us here to this point. Like, okay, if this is so powerful that he could heal all these patients, then it's worth investigating and what other potential it might have. Does anybody have any questions? Comments? Okay, well, I'll continue. And
No, no.
oh, yes.
No, go ahead, continue.
Okay. But feel free at any point if anyone wants to speak. You can unmute and I'll probably hear you, or you can just say, hey, what's up? But this prayer, this mantra, the philosophy behind it is all revolves around taking 100% responsibility for our problems. And any frustrations that we have, people who have their own problems, we can work on ourselves, that part of them that's within us. And the idea, like the kind of spiritual philosophy, is that we are all connected and that we can actually connect with other people just within ourselves. And I think that's beautiful, and I probably believe something like that, but I also think it doesn't require to believe in anything even supernatural, in my opinion. Where this doctor is going over the case files, and he is cleaning, as he calls it, saying the Ho'oponopono prayer, he calls it cleaning, over each of these patients and their issues. He's changing his relationship with that person without even talking to them. And then from that point forward, whenever he sees them, when they make eye contact, even just like his body language without eye contact, just his presence will be different with that person. And everyone will register that consciously or not, but our unconscious recognizes. Even if you don't believe in, everybody isn't necessarily going to believe in the spiritual side of things automatically, but I just think that it doesn't require that mystical belief. but that there's something really powerful about it, this idea. So anyways, the meaning of the word conflict is a mental struggle resulting from incompatible or opposing needs, drives, wishes, external or internal demands. Conflict is a fight, a battle, or war, competition or opposing action. The word Ho'opono is to correct, to make right. Well, I don't remember specifically what I had in mind when I grabbed that. I would love to open up the floor if anybody has thoughts or reflections at this point.
Um,
Uh,
Probably
Probably
something to share.
something to share.
I
I haven't known
this philosophy.
this philosophy, but
I consider
I
sometimes
consider sometimes that
when I find all my things over the places and everything is like a disorder, especially my bedroom, for example. I know that something is inside me, like having this mess. So I know that the mess around me is because my thoughts or something inside me it is messy too. I don't know if you have experienced that. That's what this philosophy made me to realize that even without knowing the term, that's what I want to share.
Yeah, I think that absolutely makes sense, and on a couple different levels. For one, that their inner reality reflects our outer reality, and the idea that everything really is impacting everything else. So yes, when you're, maybe you have a mess in your room that is reflecting that greater mess inside, um, and maybe even by cleaning your room, you can begin that healing process.
Yes,
yes, yes,
it's like
it's
that.
like that.
I find my inner peace once I clean my room and I put everything in where it should be. I feel that inner peace, and not only because it is all in the right place. It is just because somehow it is a way of telling myself that everything is going to be okay. And yeah, I suddenly start realizing what's probably is wrong, and yeah, it is therapeutic. Some, so yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And since I've been working on this presentation, I've been doing this prayer quite a bit, and the uh, Dr. Joe Vitale suggests that the prayer is said to the great, whatever you call it, if you call it God or Jesus or the Spirit or whatever, Personally, I think it can be just as effective to think of it as saying to yourself, to your inner self, um, not that I'm asking any external being for forgiveness, but really asking myself for forgiveness, or for that part of myself that's, you know, interfering with my greater well-being. But it's really interesting because I had a certain um, appointment I had to go to, and it was a little stressful. And I did a little bit of the Ho'oponopono before it. That was like one of my early experiences, and I had a better experience in there than I had had previously. So that was interesting. And I mean, it definitely has been helping me just to have um, a better attitude. And I will get frustrated for whatever variety of reasons. Emotions come and go, our moods, and there's not always even a real great explanation for them. But I just think it's really empowering for myself to have this, and then be able to not even require to talk with another person before I've actually processed and dealt with the issue. Yeah, and there's a lot of deeper philosophy behind it that I'm not quite conveying, but just the idea that a lot of our problems can be created by our memories, and that this process of cleaning can help remove memories and bring us back to a zero state, from before those things are interfering. So the steps for, as they call it, clearing the practice of Ho'oponopono. Step one is think of the problem that you want to work on. And it can be, like we said, a conflict. It can be internal issue. It could be, it could be people use this to, deal with issues with money, finances, whatever the issues that you want to work on. And then you got to feel what are, feel the issue, feel the emotion behind it. And then what are the beliefs? What do you believe? Because we know that our emotions come from our thoughts and what we believe. So then practice Ho'oponopono on the problem, on the feelings, and the beliefs, and different aspects. So, I mean, you could actually go and break down individually and break apart a problem into all the different little pieces and use this mantra here. And the feelings are very important. That's where you know that the work is getting done. I'm sorry for wherever the beliefs came from. Please forgive me and my ancestors and whoever else gave these beliefs to me. And forgive me for holding on to them unconsciously. Thank you for releasing, clearing, and removing the beliefs. I love you for taking care of me, for giving me life, for clearing these issues. Yeah, so that is the end of my presentation. I've got a bunch of additional information, blogs, YouTube playlists, YouTube videos. I even transcribe one of the meditations. There's one that I have used, Ho'oponopono for self-love and radical forgiveness. I transcribed that, as well as Ho'oponopono to attract money, which, if you find this interesting, you might care to look in there. And in fact, I'll pull that just to show how the process is being used in these contexts. This meditation, they go through and work Ho'oponopono on over like a half hour, all these different, whether you're judgment for your physical appearance, believed others' hurtful messages, shame, depriving yourself, like basically just like this laundry list of all these different reasons why, ways that you or I may have mistreated oneself, judged, not taking care of ourselves, and go through and work the whole Ho'oponopono on it. And I don't know, I think I'm really excited about this for myself as just a way to regularly be cleansing my attitude, my thoughts, the way that I'm feeling and relating with the world. And while I was doing the research, I signed up for, bought for, paid for a certificate program on the Ho'oponopono. So, I don't know. It's hard for me to anticipate to what extent other people will catch on to my various things I get excited about, but I'm happy to share the information nonetheless, and I will continue to explore this topic into the future.
so much.
so much. I think,
Oh,
oh,
there is an echo
there
again.
is an echo again.
Thanks. Well, I think this is super useful. I think we should prioritize our inner peace or mental health above everything. So I these kind of tools, let's say, are really important. Uh, Even if yeah, because you can use it as there's actually there's a slide where I read something like you can use this to do a prayer to whatever entity you believe on. That's something nice. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing this way of connecting with ourselves. Um, Share this forgiveness. Spread the love. I think uh, those things are really important for our spirit. So thank you so much for that. I don't know, probably Grail is if you have any questions or something to share, so we can wrap up like closing without thoughts. Would be nice.
Yeah, sure. Let me turn on the just a sec. Okay. Um, yeah, I guess like I mean I haven't spent that much time thinking about like therapy and clinical stuff, but I did get an audiobook of like Jungian psychoanalysis in like a therapy situation, so that's like the main point of context that I have when like thinking about therapy and the kind of stuff that people deal with in a therapy kind of and a like therapy slash therapist setting. I guess like what sort of like I mean because I know that you're involved with Gravity, so I guess I'm wondering what sort of context do you see this getting applied in within like the Gravity space, if that's your plan.
Yeah, well, first, just to reflect on your bringing young Carl Jung, and I'm a big fan of Carl Jung and uh, his work, but that's also a far different prospect. Like psychoanalysis, Jungian analysis, those things are like lifetime projects that you like want. You're gonna unpack your life history and figure out like where everything came from, and like you're gonna like solve some problems somewhere along the way. But like that's, that might happen, but that like this is like a lot more kind of um direct, quick. You can immediately respond to an issue that you're having, um, just in your own head with this mantra, working on, for example, if um, you're dealing with, you're working with somebody in a working group, and you had some conflict, you had some challenge with them, and you don't know immediately what the way forward on it is. How, like, should you, even if you should talk with them, probably right away isn't even the best time to do that. Like, maybe it's good to just, like, take some time, and just, like, the the whole Ho'oponopono for me has helped me to kind of reduce some of the like that it's really hard to let go of a frustration, but this sort of prayer in a way is like, it helps me at least to let go. And so beyond that, in the context of gravity, I just see it as an important tool in our arsenal of things. And it's really easy. That's like what I love about it, is it's so simple. Like I've been studying nonviolent communication for 4 years, and I still like I struggle with like applying it practically in my everyday life. And I'm definitely getting there, but this is something that is immediately useful, requires like almost zero training, and you hit the ground running with some useful tool for managing conflict within oneself, and the world around you. So that's it. That's my wrap.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Okay, sorry about that. I'm getting an echo. Are you guys getting an echo?
I just mute myself the echo, so we don't get the echo.
Okay, so how's that? That sounds better. Okay. Yeah, so I mean I can appreciate how it's like kind of taking everything out of the picture and just centering it on you. So from that perspective, um, easy emotion, you can take that. That makes sense. I guess I wonder, like, I mean, when I saw the part about the ancestors, it makes me think, like, well, so when you start, like, I think of people that I've encountered in like the Green Party, for example, where there's a lot of, like, I mean, it's a political party, so there's a lot of heated discourse, and you've got people that have like talk about like ancestral rights to land and things like that. And I wonder how they would respond to something like that, because in many cases that is almost a core piece of their advocacy. And I wonder if it wouldn't, if that wouldn't be something that they would find highly objectionable to try and apply. But I mean, it would be very situational context, and like I get, like, I mean, from that perspective, I'm wondering. I guess I imagine certain people and in certain contexts would find a self-treatment of that nature highly inauthentic. I don't know. Yeah, I'll stop there and see what you think about that.
Yeah, and I hear you, and I don't think that I don't necessarily present it as like the tool for every situation, but I think it's like an immediately practical thing. When like I'm in a triage situation and I'm trying to figure out, okay, like what do I do next? And like first thing I can think like, okay, I can do this, and then like I don't even have to ask, hey guys, do you want to do Ho'oponopono? Like they don't even have to know that I'm doing it to object. And then while I've gotten some of my resources, then I can, you know, bring whatever the next thing, or whatever the right next step is from there. And it is just, honestly, I didn't know, this is sort of like a real soft subject. I wasn't sure even in this ecosystem entirely who's going to be interested, and it's even like softer than basically everything else that we deal with in Gravity. But I just think it could be useful for some people, and that's who it's for. And I wouldn't try to apply it to every situation, but I think it's great that it's available. And I know, like the research I've done, and learning more about it can be useful to the curriculum and the resources of Gravity, if not like even if it's not necessarily like our core framework or anything. Yeah, so I think that's a wrap. I think we could end the recording, and if we feel like chatting still, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank you so much
for joining.
for joining and for hosting this session.
Thanks for presenting.
Yeah, thanks to the both of you for coming out and hearing me out. And I'm glad that we have a recording, and it's another little nugget that I can file away into my treasure house of Gravity.
For sure.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.